All right, let's see what we got here. I'm gonna try and bring in the, let's see, audio. Okay. This may be a little better for everybody. Figured I would go live during the mercy trial so we can chat a little bit after yesterday. Okay. All right. I think we got this going. Let's get this audio worked out here. Pretty sure no one's talking yet, so that's why we can't hear anything. But hello, thank you for subbing. Hello from Tennessee, Dollywood. You live near Dollywood? I have a buddy that loves Dollywood. He would go there if he had $10 left. He'd try to buy wire cutters to get into Dollywood. Beautiful place. I'm watching Court TV here. It's the only one near Nashville. That's a good place too. All right, let's see if the audio comes on here. Minnesota, nice.
Good morning. The court calls the case of State of West Virginia versus Natalie Cochran. This is case number 23-F-343K. The record should reflect that the state appears by Tom Truman, prosecuting attorney for Raleigh County, Ashley Acord, assistant prosecuting attorney for Raleigh County. The record should further reflect the presence of the defendant, Natalie Cochran, in person and by counsel Matthew Victor and Stanley I. Selden. We are here now for the penalty phase of this case. We need to discuss some ground rules and make sure that we are on the same page in this regard. The court will permit brief opening statements from each side. As I explained to you yesterday, the defense goes forward first, but yet there is no burden of proof. In my review of the law, also, the defense has the last word before the matter is submitted to the jury for determination, and we can work that out. The court will permit instructions to be submitted if you wish, and I believe the state has submitted a penalty phase instruction. We have been working on a proposed verdict form, really and we have one, Facebook. And the state has submitted one, and at the appropriate time we will discuss that
sweetheart judge.
We will concentrate on character of the defendant. The court will employ evidentiary rules 401 and 403. 401 pertaining to relevancy, 403 the balancing test to ensure that there is no undue prejudice to this defendant. Let me hear if you have any questions or suggestions.
That's for the statement.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. Got to get premium. Kathy said, I recommend getting premium so you won't get ads.
At some point, Your Honor, we may consider the instruction that has been offered by the state, but I don't think it's necessary to do it at this time.
Certainly.
Unless the court believes otherwise.
It's sort of a bland instruction, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way, but it just sets forth the circumstances and explains to the jury why we are here, and if the jury recommends parole eligibility, the defendant would be considered eligible for parole after serving 15 years in prison. So it doesn't seem to be very controversial, I should say.
Oh, I missed that. What did he say? Was that concurrent or?
Is the defense prepared to go forward at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the state ready?
State's ready.
All right, bring out the jury bailiff.
Did y'all hear if they said if they decide to go with mercy, if it's concurrent with her sentence now, or if it starts after the sentence now? I don't know if he clarified that, but gotcha. While they're talking here, I may rewind.
Mr. Victor. Brief opening statements from each side. As I explained to you yesterday, the defense scored first, but yet there is no burden of proof. In my review of the law, also, the defense has the last word before the matter is submitted to the jury for determination. And we can work that out. The court will permit instructions to be submitted if you wish, and I believe the state has submitted a penalty phase instruction. We have been working on a proposed verdict form, and we have one, and the state has submitted one, and at the appropriate time, we will discuss that factor. We will concentrate on character of the defendant. The court will employ evidentiary rules 401 and 403, 401 pertaining to relevancy, 403 the balancing test to ensure that there is no undue prejudice to this defendant. Let me hear if you have any questions or suggestions.
I bet I didn't rewind enough.
It's up to you.
Mr. Victor.
I think that at some point, Your Honor, we may consider the instruction that has been offered by the state, but I don't think it's necessary to do it at this time.
Certainly.
Unless the court believes otherwise.
It's sort of a bland instruction, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way, but it just sets forth the circumstances and explains to the jury why we are here, and if the jury recommends parole eligibility, the defendant would be considered eligible for parole after serving 15 years in prison.
Hold on. Okay.
Eligibility.
Let me see here. Sorry, y'all. ADD's kicking in. I gotta listen to what he's saying.
And explains to the jury why we are here, and if the jury recommends parole eligibility, the defendant would be considered eligible for parole after serving 15 years in prison.
After serving, I'm curious if it's after serving 15 years after the 11 years she finishes. And hello, Ohio neighbors.
Recommend mercy. The defendant will receive
All right,
a
let's
life.
try and get back to live.
She
here.
has done total of why Natalie Cochran, we hope and implore you to grant her mercy. I hope you listen carefully to what they have to say without prejudging them. And again, we beg you to give mercy to Natalie Cochran. Thank you.
I'll just say I'm good with whatever the jury decides
Truman.
here. I mean,
This will be a lot less information than you had to absorb over the last 2 weeks, and you're thinking, thank goodness. Well, we couldn't have made up a stranger procedure than this, but this is the procedure. You are totally in charge, completely in charge. It's whatever you feel is appropriate. And for that, the state will be putting on some evidence also of what we think accurately portrays the defendant's character. And at the end of it, you'll go back in your jury room and you'll decide, is this defendant worthy of parole at some point or not? And that's it. That's your sole job remaining in this case. So we'll see how the evidence unfolds, and we'll see what you think when you come back out of your jury room with a decision. Thank you.
yeah, she didn't give Michael mercy. I totally agree.
All right,
with that,
now,
but
Mr. Selden, please call your first witness.
to clarify, it's mainly, I mean, it's definitely for the kids. It's not for her. But I'm saying, like, I'd be okay if they decide for life or mercy with this. And if they did go with mercy, I'd be okay with that because of the kids, if that makes sense.
Well,
Sorry, I cut out before we could hear the witnesses. But yeah, I don't like it either, Linda. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like a shorter sentence. That's all it is.
about the truth, so help you God. You may have a seat right there.
You okay?
Yes, I'll be fine.
Okay.
It's gonna be a sad day, y'all.
I know these proceedings they're hard on everyone. Please tell us your name and the correct spelling of it.
Penny Lowery, Penny Lowery.
Do you know Natalie Cochran?
Yes,
Do you have any relationship, family relationship?
I agree,
to her?
Chris.
yes, she's my baby sister.
So you've known Natalie virtually all of her life.
Yes,
I would like you to tell this jury any aspects of Natalie's character, her good works, her actions towards others in the community. I'm leaving it pretty open for you to convince this jury as to why they should grant your little sister mercy. And feel free to go into any details that you think they might like to hear. Okay?
I was thinking about this last night, and I know that you don't see her like I see her. And I was 12 years old when she was born, so she was like my little baby doll. And I just remember her just things about her, like she would come to my room and sleep with me. She was
Sad.
afraid of the dark. And
Go slowly.
okay, I'm sorry.
I know you want to get it all out,
Yes.
but I want to make sure the jury hears everything. So slowly, please.
So when I see her, I see that little girl that came to my room every night and was afraid of the dark to sleep with me. And I see the little girl that I drove to and from school every day. And then on Saturdays, I would want to watch what I wanted to watch. And she always wanted to watch My Little Pony. And we would do that together. I watched her grow up, and she was a beautiful, smart woman. And I was there. We helped plan her wedding. I was with her when she had her kids.
Okay, again,
I'm sorry.
I know. I'm having a little trouble
Okay.
hearing and following you. I know you're extremely emotional. We understand that.
My goodness.
Just a little slower, please. Thank you.
Are you all understanding me?
Let her talk.
Okay.
So I watched her become this woman and have her kids, and I love her and I love Michael. And I remember one time, I was thinking last night that I asked them to vape.
Calafia Barista
crap.
Blends.
Sorry, y'all.
Irresistibly good.
I'm going to get, Kathy told me, she said, get YouTube Premium. I'm going to do it. So bear with me on the ads. Hey, thank you, Shards BF.
And Natalie, I know all 40 plus years of her. You've seen her just this short amount of time. She is good. She's done so many so helpful, and she would help people. She wrote a devotion book. We grew up in church, and she knows what right from wrong. And we've been taught to be forgiving. And I look at my family, and I'm just begging you for mercy for those kids and for my mom and dad. Giving her mercy does not mean she'll get out of prison. It means there's hope for a parole. She's been in prison already. She's missed every milestone at their graduation and Nikki's prom. She'll miss weddings and probably when they have their babies. I don't think my mom and dad will be alive when she gets out. But I just pray that you give some hope. The hope is a powerful thing. There's a statement that says, life without hope is ceasing to live. And I think those kids need some hope to see their mom as she gets older. They've hurt the most. We've all hurt, but they've been hurting the most. They need her. This is the only family they've known. They've been raised by their grandparents. They're 77. I'm begging you to please consider giving her some mercy. It doesn't mean she'll be paroled, but give her that chance to be reformed and to do better. We love her. We just plead with you to do that for her.
You've talked briefly about Natalie's character prior to this conviction. What kind of person was she? And can you talk about any contributions to the community, anything like that?
Of course, they always gave back. That she worked in the Church of Awanas, and she did all the little league sports, anything that her kids needed. She was there. We would always go shopping every year to Pigeon Forge at Thanksgiving when the men would go hunting, and she always made sure her kids had what they needed before she'd buy herself. She never bought herself anything. She served on committees in our community. She served with all the sports. And
what kind of committees?
Which is like team mom, and then served as officers on these sports teams like football and baseball. And she did a lot of things like that. She would do Bible school for the kids, and that was her priority. her family, and they did everything together.
She's been in federal prison for a couple of years now. Do you know anything about her activities while she's been in prison?
I do. I know that she teaches classes, and I know that she's helped. I don't know all the details, but she's helped with like helping people get their GEDs. She does devotion. She wrote a devotion book in prison, and she's a friend to a lot of those people.
I don't have any more specific questions. Is there anything else you would like the jury to hear?
Just asking them to please consider this for those kids, especially for our family, and what you see there, our family, and we need this, please. We need some hope.
Okay, thank you.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Ms. Lowery, the defendant grew up to be a little bit different than she was when she was your little sister, 12 years younger than you. Turned out a little bit different than what it looked like at the time, didn't it?
I mean, I don't know what that means, different. I know you found her guilty of this, but she was still my sister. I mean, I always trusted and loved her.
Absolutely. And blood is very thick. You're loyal to your sister. Fair enough?
Yes.
You're also an educator by training, correct?
Yes.
Do you think there should be consequences for misbehavior?
Yes.
And it should be proportional to what the misbehavior was, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also believe that fair is not equal and equal is not fair. I just think a lot of things have to be considered. I know that there's been mercy given to people that did a lot worse.
Okay, we'll just accept that. The last time you testified in this case, you didn't recall how much you lost in your investments with the defendant. Did you go back and check?
I did. I said it was around $50,000.
And is that what it was?
I told you I didn't keep accurate records. She would use my credit card, then I'd pay some, then I'd give her more and pay, and I just never really kept. But I was $50,000 in the hole, and everything was said and done.
Where did that money come out of your retirement or something?
I didn't realize they could cross.
Just cash you had.
Actually, it was more of my credit cards.
Oh, okay. So when you had to pay your credit card bills, you were paying the principal, or did you pay them off each month, or did you have interest?
It just depended. I tried to do as much as I could. I was a single mom at the time.
Oh, okay. In her federal case, she pled guilty to the wire fraud and money laundering, right?
I don't know what the exact charges were, but she
Okay.
did plead guilty.
Right.
I don't remember. I don't know the exact charges.
Okay.
Excuse me.
And you'd mentioned her contributing to the community.
Yes.
Were you aware of some scholarships, the Michael Cochran Legacy Scholarships?
Yes.
Those scholarships were awarded by the defendant,
Yes, I think so.
but they were never funded, were they?
No.
But she did raise some money for the Michael Cochran scholarships, Legacy Scholarship, correct?
I do not know.
Okay. You just know that in her community activities,
All right, I'm gonna mute here just to say, y'all know that Natalie Cochran gave fake scholarships. That's what he's asking right now. She gave students full rides that didn't exist, and a lot of kids didn't file for further assistance because they thought it was covered, and they ended up having to get a late start on their education.
Is it okay if I call you Penny?
Yes.
The prosecutor asked you about money for scholarship fund, et cetera.
Yes.
Were you aware that the government seized all of the assets of Natalie And among those seized assets were any monies, et cetera, that might have been paid to these scholarship funds?
I don't know what the money was for, but I do know that the government seized a lot of her money, all of her funds.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further, Mr. Truman?
Wow. Those scholarships were awarded in May of 2019, correct?
I don't recall I guess that was the date. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. But the search warrant wasn't until the following month, and she wasn't convicted till like September.
I don't recall the dates, but I know that it was in the summer.
Is Rachel your daughter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all the state has, Your Honor. Thanks.
Anything, Mr. Selden?
Yes, sir.
I think what makes
No,
them look
I-
bad, like no one on her side is admitting she did wrong. It seems like it's all throwing shade at everyone else. And I think that does not play well. It's bad. Like, we got to say, she is a narcissist. She took people's money. She ruined lives. But I love her.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
And all of this investigation into the Ponzi scheme and the seizing of her money, all that occurred before the school year started. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
No other questions?
Anything, Mr. Truman?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lowry. You may step down. You are excused.
Thank you.
Well, it started
Our
off
next
strong,
witness,
kind of
Mr.
fell
Selden.
flat. I don't know about y'all. Oh, I'd say Stanley was like,
Your Honor,
I'll handle
we
this
would like to
part.
call Lacey Treadway as our next witness. Is she not here? Your Honor, it does not appear as if Ms. Treadway is here, so we will call Sharon England.
All right.
Enablers, that's
If
the
you
word.
could, Mr. Selden, speak up. The jury's having some difficulty hearing you.
No problem, Your Honor. I usually have the opposite problem.
Thank you. If you'll raise your right hand, ma'am.
Oh.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may have a seat right there.
Would you please state your full name and how you spell it?
Sharon England, SharonEngland.
American businesses pay most of our nation's
Sorry.
taxes.
All right, I'm going to get premium, I promise. Forgive me. This is a quick one, though, at least.
And as you've heard, we're here and you're here to tell this jury why you think Natalie should get mercy and give this jury a better understanding of what type of person Natalie is. Okay?
Okay.
To that end, would you speak on behalf of Natalie and tell this jury what type of person you think she is?
Okay. Well, first of all,
And if you would, please speak into the microphone.
okay. First of all, because I've known Natalie all of her life, we've been in close contact ever since she was born. Natalie's always been the most compassionate, kind, caring person throughout her life, always putting others before herself. She is a loving mother and is selfless when it comes to the needs of her children. After Natalie's heart became worse and more difficult, where at times she couldn't drive, and her parents were trying to help, and they would have appointments. And my husband and I would drive the children to school in Greenbrier County. And on those trips, just being alone, usually when we were together, it was at big family gatherings, but just having the kids in the car, we became very close with the kids. And since the death of their dad, they became extra close to their mother, and she was just always there for them.
Now, ma'am, I want to interrupt you for just a moment. You're
Since the death of her dad, let's change that to since the murder of her dad.
Oh, no, I prepared it.
okay, and can it be
Or murder of their dad.
down to refresh your recollection?
Yes, definitely.
And you mentioned Natalie's heart problems.
Yes,
Were you aware that Natalie had not one, but two surgeries on her heart,
yes,
and that she currently has an implant in her chest to help with her heartbeat?
yes.
Okay. I'm sorry to
Of
interrupt you.
course she
Please
does.
go
Can you
on.
imagine the
That's okay.
stress that does to your heart?
I just, since the kids have become so attached to their mom, I'm just asking that you would have mercy on her, that they might have some hope that at some point in time, when she does get out of prison, they would be able to spend some time with her. That would mean a lot to them. And I want to also emphasize that Natalie has always been faithful to volunteer her services and to help others. And I have a list here of things that I'm aware of personally that she has done. As a youth, she donated her money to buy Christmas presents.
Oh, about fell
for
out my
the
chair
needy.
on that one.
She would come to my elderly aunt's home and other elderly people to give them flu shots and to help with other necessary needs. She volunteered to conduct poison prevention demonstrations at local schools, conducted free health eating course for seniors. She conducted flu shots and clinics at the churches and at Sewing for Souls. She conducted health seminars at the Lions Club, she was a coordinator.
So some backstory, Sewing for Souls is great, but they actually raised money for Natalie while her bank accounts were frozen during the Ponzi scheme. And it was for her blood cancer that she never proved she had. So there's what Sewing for Souls is.
Hubbies and Awanas at her church for 5 years and played the piano for 4 years at her local church. She even volunteered at Daniels Elementary when they lost their music teacher because of lack of funding, and she filled in free of charge. She volunteered at Habitat for Humanity as well as Homes for Seniors.
Yeah, I don't know, Cannon. I mean, it's like, I don't know how they're going to perceive this because there's a lot of stuff here that's not taking accountability, like the death of her dad. That's going to infuriate the jury. 2
devotion books. I know one.
Or the death of their dad, the kids.
And they're using those in the prisons now. And even at Southern Regional Jail, they have some, but also in Kentucky and Tennessee, the prison ministries there are using the devotion and study books that she wrote for the women prisoners. I hope that you will consider Natalie's history of being generous, caring, and giving person, and consider giving her mercy on her sentence. And I hope that you'll pray about it and ask God for wisdom and understanding to do the right thing. I know in Matthew chapter 5, verse 7, it says, "Blessed are the merciful."
Oh, no, she didn't.
Obtain mercy, and that was said by Jesus. I interpret that to mean that if we're merciful to other people, He will show us mercy. And so I'm asking that you will show grace and mercy to Natalie, just as our Savior Jesus Christ has shown grace and mercy to each of us. We don't deserve it. She might not either, but He gives.
It's hard to
it
compete
us.
with that, y'all.
It's free.
Turn the volume down a little bit. So
I'm asking that you
nothing against this
do that
woman.
for
I'm sure
Natalie,
her
not so much
experience is
for
her
her sake.
experience. But
for
there
the
is
sake
so
of her
much
children,
information there that
the
I think
parents,
the
and the
jury is
family.
going to be like, wait a minute.
And as you make your decision, whether, see,
Oh, hang on.
I know you know your actions will be judged by Natalie's family and loved ones, by Michael's family and loved ones,
Oh, okay.
by the prosecution, and by the defense. But none of that matters. That doesn't matter diddly squat.
You're right.
What really matters is that you will be judged by powerful Almighty God. And in his word, he said, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. So I'm asking for you to please give her mercy on this conviction so that someday her children will be able to be in her presence.
Oh, that's tough, y'all.
Cross-examination.
That is, I don't think this one helped. That's just me. Sure, she's a nice lady. This one did not help.
You can, but it's old notes and I revamped them.
I
So
understand.
I've got little notes on there.
Okay.
Some things I didn't say.
That's just something that we have to do.
Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, you describe Natalie as being a compassionate, kind, and caring person. Is that right?
It is. I've never seen her any other way.
So where do you think it all went wrong?
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but she loved Michael with all of her heart. When he asked her to quit being a pharmacist because he was jealous of her coworker, he asked her to also be the woman because they were giving the contracts to women to start that business. And I believe she would have done whatever he said. And I believe she made some unwise, bad decisions.
I believe that too. You were talking about the Bible and the teachings of Jesus. Are you familiar with the 10 Commandments?
Yes, I am.
So you know one of those is thou shalt not kill.
I do.
Do you believe that we're judged by that as well?
Yes, I do. I also believe God will forgive those. And he's asking us to forgive if we want to be forgiven.
I know you talked about her volunteering her time and money and services, especially with things like youth sports too, right?
I wasn't as aware of the youth sports thing. I was more aware of the community things.
That's fair.
Keep in mind,
I don't think
the Shady Spring Youth Baseball League, Natalie was under investigation for stealing thousands and thousands of dollars. And she actually filed a active DVP on someone who was on the board and had them removed and told investigators that they did it. And they went through a year and a half of financial audits and damage to their reputation for the police to eventually say they had nothing to do with it. And to clarify, Cannon, it's not the Little League, it's youth baseball. Shady Spring Youth
Right.
Baseball
Do
League.
you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may have a seat.
Good morning, Ms. Carrico.
Good morning.
You appear very emotional. Are you okay? Can you testify?
Yes.
Okay. And if you would, please talk into the microphone
Okay.
so the jury can hear you.
Okay. Mhm.
Please tell us your full name and spell it, please.
Yep. My name is Rachel Carrico, Rachel Carrico.
Thank you. How do you know Natalie Cochran?
Natalie is my aunt, but I would describe her as more than that. Like my mom was up here saying, she's been a very close and influential person in my life. I would consider her more of a mom than an aunt to me.
Okay, I just want to
Okay.
clarify. You said when your mom is up here testifying, your mother is Penny Carrico Lowery. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay, please go
Yes.
on.
Her kids they're my cousins, but we've always been like brother and sister. I'm an only child, so having them with me growing up has been a blessing to me, especially within the past 5 years. I think we've grown very close together because we've needed each other. But I would always be with them growing up. Natalie would always include me in anything that they were doing, big or small, whether it was going on a day trip or just going out.
Oh, crap. All right.
New Year.
Add disclaimer, y'all. All right.
Their family.
Why do you think this jury should grant Natalie mercy? And you know what that means from the discussions, correct?
Yes.
So why should they give her mercy?
I don't think anyone truly knows Natalie like we do. My family does. Like I said, she's been a mom to me, and she didn't have to do that. Just even last Wednesday, I had to put my dog down after court. And on Thursday, that's when my 2 cousins had testified. And Natalie called me after from Southern Regional, and it wasn't to talk about court. It was to check on me because I had lost my pet. And she's always been that way with me. She has included me like one of her kids. And when my mom was in the hospital, on my 17th birthday, Natalie bought me a cake, my favorite cake, and took me out to eat so I wouldn't have such a crappy birthday. She took me to Disney World. She taught me how to ski. She bought me my first Starbucks drink. She's had such an influence on my life, and looking back and even looking at now, I'm very thankful for the influence she has had on me, and it has been nothing but good. She has shown me how to
I mean, listen, this would be hard, y'all. If you're in this situation, you know, I'd be throwing everything at the wall too, just to see what sticks. So, you know, heart goes out to this
her
lady.
demonstrating that love.
I mean, all their fam. I don't fault any of them for taking up for her, for sure.
There's been things said, but no one truly knows her like we do. And I just beg for mercy because we need it. We need her back. I can't fathom her not being around to not even see me get married or have kids, but much less her own kids.
It's important we keep in mind that Donna Bolt has, as far as my understanding, has no communication. That's Michael's mom with her grandkids.
I do have one question.
So put
You
yourself
talked
in
about
that
your
position
17th
too. That's
birthday.
important.
How old are you now?
I'm 26.
Okay, thank you.
Cross-examination.
Ms. Carrico, what do you do for a living?
I'm an occupational therapist,
So where did you go to school?
West Virginia University.
When did you graduate?
Go Ears!
Yeah.
May of 2022.
Any Mountaineer fans? I
And
doubt
you
it.
were
Well,
one of
I'm
the
sure there's some
recipients
Mountaineer
of the
fans on
Michael
here.
Cochran Literacy Scholarship.
37. I mean, that's
Yes.
Did you ever get any of that
second
money?
stream, work in progress.
You mentioned that the defendant was so influential on you. Can you be a little more specific other than this generalized, she's a loving person? How else did she influence you?
To be smart and to strive for, what I wanted, and encouraged me when I was in college, and just made sure that I knew, like, how proud she was and how good I was doing. And I mean, like, she's influenced what clothes I wear. I like to wear the same type of clothing that she did. And like I said, with coffee, I mean, it's little small things that have had a big impact, but also, just the characteristics of her.
Not to revisit this day, but anybody that experienced putting a pet down knows how awful that is. And you got pretty emotional kind of recapturing that terrible day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it's like to be a mom and lose your son?
Be hard.
As understatements go, being hard would probably work, but it would be a lot more than just being hard, wouldn't
I'm
it?
sorry, I can barely hear the prosecutor. I would like
to speak after you.
Yes, sir. It would be more than hard to lose
Someone
a
get
son,
Stanley some
correct?
hearing aids.
I would say so.
You also mentioned that the defendant influenced you in terms of accomplishments, and you are clearly accomplished, so you can give her some credit for that. She too was accomplished. It's hard to get into pharmacy school, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll be right
So
back,
she
y'all.
was well equipped to deal with life in terms of finances just by not only getting in, but graduating and getting a job as a pharmacist. Isn't that true?
I know I'm not good with finances personally. I think you're good at what you specialize in. And so financially, I don't know.
Okay. In her influencing you, she didn't give you tips on how to run a Ponzi scheme or anything, did she?
No.
Okay. That's all the questions the state has. Thank you.
Anything further, Mr. Selden?
yes, Your Honor, just a moment. Is it okay for me to call you Rachel?
Yes.
Now, Rachel, the prosecutor asked you questions about not getting money for your scholarship fund.
Yes.
And that money was promised to you in the following school year.
Yes, it was
But-
going to
Can
be
we
for
take
my
the blame for
first
things?
fall semester of OT school.
Okay. And before that happened,
Jesus.
you're aware that Natalie Cochran and Michael Cochran's assets were all seized. There wouldn't be any money for your scholarship fund, correct?
Yes.
There's no money, Stanley. There's no money.
There were questions about your scholarship
Drives me
fund, but
nuts.
did Natalie Cochran give you any other financial help, either in school or otherwise, over the years?
I don't know so much about school. My mom took care of most of that for me.
Right?
Here's mercy.
They would
Okay, you ready? Here's mercy.
Like she would.
I know
buy
I
my
done this
clothes,
crime.
or
Please
she would
forgive
pay
me.
for my meal.
That's
if
it.
We were out eating.
This
or
is
to
this
get my
is
nails done.
if
I was
overlooking
with them.
or acknowledging
Uh,
anything else that happened.
She
it's not only
helped you
that,
all
They're
along
kind of trying
Yeah.
the
with
case.
finances.
They're like, oh
when
yeah,
needed.
but you didn't
Would that be a
receive
fair
this.
statement?
Yes.
You didn't receive, you didn't get your scholarship because the government froze her bank accounts. Is that correct? Like, let's admit what we did
prosecutor asked
and
some
ask
questions
for
about-
forgiveness. That's what mercy is
Natalie,
to me. Oh, sorry. I need it.
being equipped for bumps and challenges,
Yes.
and how did she do that?
Through natural life lessons, whether it was a breakup with a boyfriend in high school, she was there to console me and to tell me that things would be better, and it was okay to cry, but I would be stronger. whether it was helping to motivate me when it came time, like my senior year of high school or starting college. And she gave me the talk of, what alcohol and drugs would be. And she would always be there to call if I ever needed help. And I didn't feel comfortable telling my own mom that she was there and she would
I'm gonna be
do
nice.
what she could to help
This is
me or
hard for
protect
this
me.
lady.
I never doubted her love for me. I still don't. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I mean, that's sufficient. Now, did there come a time when Natalie Cochran had to have heart surgeries?
Yes.
Did you care for her in any way or at any time as a result of those surgeries?
Yes. Like I said, I was in college in Morgantown, and she had to have a heart surgery. It was like an outpatient surgery. It wasn't something huge, but I took her up to Morgantown and we stayed at my apartment and I took her to that surgery. And I waited for what felt like forever. And the nurse had actually called me and said, "Hey, this is the number that was on file, but Natalie's asking for a Michael. Do you know a Michael?" I was like, "I do, but he's not here." Like I would be there to get her. And I went and consoled her.
Let me clear something up here.
Mhm.
You're talking about Michael Cochran, right?
Yes.
And Michael was still alive at that time, correct?
No.
No, he'd already passed.
Yeah. But she was under like an anesthetic. And
Okay.
so-
Yeah, I'm not gonna really comment on the kid's testimony too much when
No
they
further
go. I
questions.
mean,
Thank you.
goodness gracious.
Cross-examination, Mr. Truman.
State has no additional questions, Ms. Carrico. Thank
Very
you.
well. Thank you very
But
much.
I'm telling you, if the kids get up there and admit that Natalie killed their dad, she will get mercy 100%. She
next witness,
still
Mr.
might.
Sheldon.
It just depends. But if they get up there and
The
say
defense
she
would like
didn't
to
do
call
it, it's gonna be a
Larry
problem.
Jessup.
Oh man, sad day. Hope y'all don't mind. I'm working while we're watching, so I'll definitely be clicking back and forth.
Would you please
Oh, shoot.
tell
Sorry about that.
this court and jury your name and how you spell it?
Larry Jessup, LarryJessup.
Mr. Jessup, are you any relation to Natalie Cochran?
Yes, I'm Natalie's daddy.
I am again going to ask you sort of open-ended questions. You're here on Natalie's behalf today, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
And since you're Natalie's father, you know her pretty well. You've been with her all of her life, correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you please tell this jury what kind of person you know Natalie to be and why you think they should grant her mercy?
Well, Natalie was my daughter. Naturally,
This
she grew up in our household. She was always a great youngster. She was always very giving person. She helped us, my wife and I, Daphne, all in her growing up years.
She went to high school here in Beckley, and she, in high school, she did a lot of different things extra for her school.
Like what, if you recall?
Well, she's on committees, and she did social service work and that kind of thing.
Okay, please go on.
As far as the timeline in her life, I can kind of go along those kind of lines. My sister Sharon has already mentioned a lot of things that she did, and as she grew up. But
Your aunt.
she met Michael in high school, and he would come to our house, and so I got to be friends with him, and then they both went to WVU to school, and then they decided to get married in 2019, and then they were married May the 20th of 2020. They didn't have a place to stay, so my wife and I bought him a mobile home, and he didn't have a car to drive, so I gave him a pickup truck that I had, and so they.
This is a good family, y'all. We got to just, like, this is a really good family. You can tell. It's obvious. You know, as far as everyone else besides Natalie, this is a really good family.
A company called Nova, and she went to work as a pharmacist.
Okay,
And
please talk into the microphone. You're kind of fading out a little bit.
Lord, somebody get
try to do better.
You're doing fine, sir.
So my wife and I, we would go visit them periodically, and Michael and I would go fishing in the mountains at Pigeon Forge. They live right outside of Pigeon Forge.
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. And we would visit them there, and our first grandchild was, well, not first grandchild, but the first one from Natalie and Michael was born in Tennessee, and then they moved back to here in 2006. And they bought a home on 4H Lake Road. It was repossessed by the bank, and it was in.
Did he say that? I missed that, Amanda.
So Michael,
and you know,
and I worked on the house for about a year.
He probably got the year wrong, but imagine having to do this.
Michael and I became very, very
close. It would
close.
be awful.
And of course, Natalie, she would come over and help us, and my wife would keep the children. And then they moved, of course, into that house. They stayed with us while we were repairing the house. And then they've had a good life there. You know, they did a lot of things together. We did a lot of things with them.
What are some, now, I'm sure the jury wants to hear a lot of this history, but you said they did a lot of things together. Please tell what kinds of things and what Natalie was doing, if you would.
Well, you know, in your everyday life, you see, you just kind of go along. Some things you remember as events in their life. Other things are just every day going along together.
Can you speak to Natalie's personality, her character, things like that?
Well, just like she had always been, she was a very caring person. She took care of her family. She took care of us a lot of times. You know, if we needed something, she would help us. But as far as her family, she always put her family first in everything.
How old are you, sir?
77.
Has Natalie taken care of you for any physical ailments or anything like that?
She would always take care of, you know, me getting shots and that kind of thing. I had a massive heart attack in 2014, and she was always coming over, checking on me, blood pressure, my heart rate, and those kind of things. And then in January of 2015, I had a defibrillator and a pacemaker put in, and she was always trying to monitor those for me. Yes, sir.
I need just a moment, Your Honor.
Very well.
Mr. Jessup, as we get older, we kind of get some dates mixed up. Wasn't it true that Natalie and Michael got married in the year 2000?
Good call,
not
Amanda.
2019 or 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2000. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm
the
having
heartwarming
trouble with
laugh.
my memory as I get older. Would you classify Natalie as a good daughter?
Certainly. Excellent daughter.
all right. I'm gonna
How would you
kinda end these
classify
polls throughout the day
her
and then
as a
start up
wife
new
and
ones
mother?
to see how people's reaction.
Again, excellent. She took care of Michael and the kids. Did every, just as a, almost as a servant to him. Yes, sir.
You've talked about how close you were to Michael, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And Natalie.
Yes, both. Mike and I developed a really just a minute. I'll be all right.
Okay.
A real,
You're obviously very emotional.
Yeah.
Just take a moment, okay?
a real close relationship over the years. We hunted and fished together, went on vacations together. He took me deep sea fishing. He became just like a son to me. It was a very good relationship. We did a lot of things together and also with my grandson Ashton, his son, and that went on for years. And then 2000, we had a lease in Greenbrier County.
I mean, for those not in West Virginia, this is everyone's grandpa in West Virginia, just so you know. Down home, good dude.
More able to do things then. It was about 10. I guess,
Okay.
10.
Let me just interrupt you for just a moment. It's obvious you had a very good relationship with Michael.
Yes.
You had a very good relationship with your daughter.
Yes, sir.
This jury has already found Natalie Cochran guilty of killing her husband, Michael.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Do you think she should be punished for that act by spending the rest of her life in prison?
Well, I would hope that the jury would see fit to grant her mercy. I know they made their decision. Certainly, I don't agree with it. I felt like that there was a lot of variables there and a lot of unanswered questions.
That's going to hurt him. That's going to hurt him. I'm telling you. If she wants mercy, someone has to get up here and say, my beloved Natalie murdered Michael Cochran. This ain't going to get it, y'all.
But, her kids, if she spends 15 years, they would be 35 and 33, I guess. So they would be able to have.
Yeah, take a moment, sir.
Yeah, okay. Some more time with her kids. But as far as I'm concerned, of course, she's my daughter. I thought she was the best kid.
Crap.
It's
Hang
not
on.
crafty.
Skip button. Look at this. I'm gonna get better at this. Pow.
And you're 77 now, right?
Yes.
So when Natalie is possibly up for parole, if the jury gives her mercy,
Yes.
if my math is correct, you're going to be 92 years old. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I don't figure I'll ever make it to 92 with my heart, but I would be 92. Mhm.
So you may or may not be alive after that 15
Oh,
years.
that's sad.
Is that
That's
right?
correct, yes.
Would you like the possibility of spending time with Natalie, not behind the glass or in prison, but in person? And hopefully you'll live that long and the jury would grant you mercy. Is that a hope of yours?
Certainly. Mhm.
I don't think I have any more questions. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
Mr. Jessup, I just want to ask you
He
one
needs
thing
to
and
let
then I'll
people
you go,
talk.
okay?
Okay.
Now, we've heard a lot of talk already this morning from other witnesses and from you about,
Hey, Kathy. Yeah, he's very, very like that's a West Virginia dad, West Virginia grandpa. That's it.
to know that they will never be reunited with their father.
Makes me extremely sad.
Thank you, sir. That's it. I have no further questions.
Anything further, Mr. Selden?
Yeah,
No, sir, just hold on.
No. No other questions for this witness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jessup. You may step down. You are
I
excused.
don't know what y'all think, but he did good. But where he kind of
Call your next witness,
was when he said
Mr.
he didn't
Selden.
agree with the verdict. The jury's not going to appreciate that. Someone needs to get
Your
up and
Honor,
say,
this
"You
time
did
we
this
would like
time."
to call Daphne Jessup to the stand.
Someone needs to get up there and say, "Now I love her, and she murdered Michael Cochran." Someone needs to do that. If no one does that, I don't think she'll
You'll
get it.
raise your right hand, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may have a seat.
Are you okay?
I'll be fine.
All right. Would you please tell this court and the jury your full name and spell it?
Daphne Jessup, D-A-D-A-P-H-N-E,
And talk into the microphone.
Jessup.
Are you any relation to Natalie Cochran?
Yes, sir, I'm her mother.
And you're appearing here on her behalf, is that right?
Absolutely.
Would you please tell this jury what kind of a person Natalie is and was to
Ain't
you,
gonna do it, Stanley.
and why they should consider granting her mercy?
Yes, sir. My husband and I didn't talk about what we were saying, but I did a little timeline. I thought that would help me stay focused today. But she was born to us late in life. And all the siblings were growing up and going, and she was still home with us. So there was the three of us, all through childhood.
Ma'am,
Yes.
if you would,
No,
slowly. So I want the jury to hear everything you have to say. Thank you.
all through
Can he let him
childhood,
talk?
she did terrific in school. There was
Oh my
never
God.
a problem. And I don't want to be funny, but the only problem I had with her in second grade, over half of her classroom got lice, and she was one of them. And so with her curly, tight hair, I had a hard time with her. That's the only thing. She was a wonderful child. She was active in cheerleading.
I mean, I'm being biased here. Like, I'm trying to look at this as like, okay, well, let's see what they got to do to give her mercy. So let her talk first off.
Well, she'd sing at church and things, but always a joy. And like others said, her aunt would give all the kids a good bit of money at Christmas. She always took her half of hers and gave it to others. And that's in childhood. And then in high school, it was the same way. She didn't date very much. She worked. She didn't have to work, but she wanted to work, and she worked at a sporting goods store. And that's where she met Michael. And they were 18 when he came to our house, and he became like a son to us. I made notes. I don't want to forget anything, but
Yes, ma'am. And I just want to clarify those notes.
yes, sir.
Those are your notes
Yes.
to refresh your.
I'll tell you what wins while Stanley interrupts her. I love my daughter. She's made a lot of mistakes. She stole a lot of money. She hurt the community. She done things she never should have did. She murdered Michael Cochran. But I love her. Please, I beg you, give her mercy.
Love baseball. We stayed together in motels, Larry and Ashton, Michael, and then Natalie and myself.
Okay, just a little slower. I know you want to get it all out, and I want to hear it. I know the jury wants to hear it. So just,
How do you screw up a mercy trial?
So then college came, and after the first year of college, they were married. When they had the wedding, her professor had a band, a bluegrass band, and he brought his band down, and they played Civil War music for the wedding. We had it outdoors, and Michael wasn't real close to his dad at that time, his biological dad. But his dad came with his stepmother, and her name was Dream, I believe. They helped me. We painted. We did yard work. We put down mulch. And they were in his life at that time. After they were married, Dream and Mike gave him a cruise for a wedding present. So we took care of the wedding.
Okay, while she's saying this, again, West Virginia mom, West Virginia grandma. If you say, here's the average West Virginia mom and dad, that's these people, great people. Listen, great people. We just got to quit the enabling in this if you want to get her mercy.
Did Natalie and Michael have much money at that time?
No, sir. She worked 3 jobs. At times she was working 3 of them. Michael tried, but Michael had a different temperament, and that's him, and that's fine. And he just couldn't work with public. Sometimes he would work at the school gym and get paid, helping people to exercise. He loved bodybuilding, so that was perfect for him. But she worked at different places to make money, and we tried to help. When they graduated, and before we took them on vacations with us, we did everything we could for the kids. We loved them, and we were close. They moved to Tennessee for a little bit, and that's where Nikki was born, and I was there with Michael when a few hours after she was born.
Okay, so let me cut in here. If you caught that, she said temperament with Michael. Keep in mind that Donna Bolt is in this courtroom, Michael's mom. She does not have communication with this side of the family. She doesn't have any, as far as I understand, she's not talking to her grandkids. This just slapped her right in the face, and the jury's going to be right there with that. We gotta fix this, Stanley.
If she worked as a pharmacist in Oak Hill at that time, driving to CVS, I would keep the baby when I got home from teaching. And then they moved in their house, and here came Ashton. So now we're a family of 6, the 4 of them and the 2 of us. Again, vacations, holidays, moving in the house. And I retired when Ashton was born so that I could be their babysitter. I just don't want to leave anything out that I wanted to tell you.
Hold just a moment. Okay. If you would, as to Natalie and Michael's son, would you just refer to him as their son and not name him?
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
he's a minor.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Please go ahead.
So we start going to on trips. We eat out. We do a lot of things as a family, and my husband's still working. So at this time, Michael and him take a few holidays, and Michael always, I think we were very close, and the kid said he loved me. I thought he did. I wouldn't know for sure. He never said he loved me, but he'd always say, Daphne, you're going with us. And he was the domineering figure in the family, but Natalie didn't mind. I didn't mind. So I'd go with them while my husband stayed here and worked. I'd go on holidays with them. And I'd offer to stay in the room and take care of the kids at night so they could go to a dinner or something. He'd say, no, you're going with us. I want you to go to the steakhouse. He always took care of me. He'd do anything he could for me, and I'd do anything I could for Michael.
Okay, slow down a little bit.
It broke our heart when he left this world. Our last trip was in the summer before Michael passed away, and we went to Ocracoke Island. The men fished, and we sat outside. We played in the water. They did the boards on the waves. It was a wonderful week. And Michael had a golf cart, and he got me a golf cart, and we'd ride the others around because that was fun for this person. But Michael was sleeping more and more. Even in the car on the ferry, he'd fall asleep. He wasn't staying awake much, and he'd hold his head a lot. He was sick. When we came home, there was foods he liked eating. He had asked me to cook, and he'd come after work. He liked breakfast foods in the evening, and all breakfast foods at one time. And I'd fix it, and then he'd have to lay on the couch. He thought it was green mold that was making him sick. He was working in the house.
Ma'am, I don't want
Okay.
you to go into the
Y'all,
case in chief.
Okay.
I want you to talk about Natalie's character,
she
et
just
cetera.
she just said he had green mold when her daughter was convicted of murdering, or just said Michael. Yeah, Michael had green mold when her daughter was just convicted of murdering him.
We're not here to relitigate the case, okay?
Okay. I didn't want to bring the case up. No, sir.
Okay.
But
Thank
I was
you.
just telling you, I just wanted to.
Yes, you did. I love you. I love you, Daphne. But we gotta admit, Natalie killed Michael. Say those words, and she gets mercy.
Everybody know that
I'm gonna be quick on that skip.
for me. Natalie helped me with my ministry. So did Michael. I was always all about kids. I love children of all colors, all sizes, and I've helped children and families in 45 countries. Michael helped me furnish, and Natalie, they helped me furnish seed in Zambia for Matambo Village.
I'm sorry. Could you clarify that a little bit? What are you talking about?
Well, in Matambo Village is one of my favorite villages in Africa, and I've been there twice. They plant things like corn, tomatoes, cabbages. The government buys it, and then the government didn't give them money one time, and they couldn't buy seed.
Who is they? Who are you referring to?
The Zambians under Pastor Mukatasha lives there. It's a village in Africa.
All right, go ahead.
So we bought sacks of seeds. It was a total of $5,000 for all the seed for the village. And I had every kid there a mattress and a blanket. They were $81 for a mattress and a blanket.
Okay, when you say we bought this, who are you talking about?
Well, I have a ministry, and it's under the church. Other churches and people support me. It's all these people, we work together.
Okay, I want you to concentrate on Natalie.
Okay. Well, that's what I said. Natalie and Michael gave me $5,000 one
Objection, badgering the witness.
Christmas. And we finished getting every child in that village a blanket and a mattress, because it gets down to 40 degrees at night there, and some of them get close to fires and they burn.
Okay, let's skip ahead over that. So you're talking about Natalie and possibly Michael giving you money to help this village in Africa.
Yes.
Okay.
They also bought playground equipment for the school in that little village.
Okay. And when you say they, you're talking about
Michael
Natalie.
and Natalie.
Okay. Anything else?
Let me look through my notes if you don't mind real
Sure.
quick.
Go ahead, take your time.
I wasn't able to be here during some of the trial because they thought I might be a rebuttal witness or something. So I don't know what was said and done. But it bothered me when I came back and there was a picture of Michael on the floor. No one ever explained why he was there, but I knew why. People said, take a picture the next time he
Okay,
passes out.
ma'am, again, we're
Can't
not
say that.
relitigating.
Listen, I'm in Daphne's corner. This is not good, y'all. This is nothing against Daphne, but she's trying the case. She's retrying the case.
The case. We're talking about Natalie's character and why this jury should consider granting her mercy. So we don't want to relitigate the case, okay?
I'll just mention that then I begged for mercy. I don't know how to beg from you.
I hope we hear from Donna Bolt. If y'all remember, both of them got removed. So Daphne got removed, and it was never really told why. Donna Bolt got removed because she presented a letter to the prosecution team after day 2. I think she was frustrated, saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. And Tom Truman, being the boss that he is, had to morally and ethically submit that to the court. And he asked for her removal because he had to, because that would have ruined the whole trial. Would have been a mistrial.
My children, my grandchildren, they need.
So that's why it's so important she doesn't retry the case right here. We got to say, she's a murderer. Have mercy. That sentence alone will get it. This will not get it.
Their mother. Larry and I probably won't be here much longer at our age. If she's gone that long, we'll probably never get a hold of her again. But maybe her children can if you give us some mercy. And it's funny that Larry used hope, Penny used hope. That's what I had in my notes. We need hope. We just need maybe the morrow's coming where she can look forward to something. And about her character, can I mention what she's done in the prisons?
Yes.
Yes, oh my God.
She's written one devotional book, and it's being used.
No, they didn't.
And for the record, you're showing that devotional book.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we got to talk about this. So there's a book on Amazon. I never promoted this. There's a book on Amazon for sale. If you want to buy it, you better get it quick because that Son of Sam law is about to kick in, and they're going to remove that. But I'm not advocating for that. But this is the book she wrote, Dandelion Ministry Group. You can find it on Amazon, $16. Oh, my God.
This is her devotional book, and her daughter, Nikki, on the back did all the reflection pages. If you have journal writing in the prisons, federal prisons, you can have a book like this if it's for journaling and for religious reasons. So there's 2 reasons these girls get to keep these. And it helps inmates. It's Natalie's inner feelings about being there, things that she faced outside, inside. These girls relate to it. There's no one else that can relate like this girl does. And I hope God doesn't keep her there forever.
And you're pointing to Natalie, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't want God to keep her in prison forever, but she's a prison ministry person. And it's called the Dandelion Ministry because even a dandelion will grow through concrete. I have my own ministry called Sowing for Souls, but I've also adopted this ministry. And I'm going to do all I can. I'm already doing things for inmates, and so is she. We get books, we get Bibles, we get clothes for them. Some of these girls have 0 people. They were raised on the street. Nobody knows the heartache these girls inmates in prisons go through.
Okay, I just want to interrupt you a little bit. You're talking about things Natalie has been doing in prison, both in the federal prison and possibly at Southern Regional Jail.
I think there was about 30 some of these books at Southern Regional, and a girl came out there the other day and told Natalie she had been in a drug rehab in Charleston. She said, they're using your book down there. The second book's at the publishers are on its way. I finished typing and doing things. It's been sent out. But she makes such a difference.
You're talking about, and again, you're talking about Natalie.
Yes, sir. Natalie's worked for administration. She works as the barista at the prison that's serving the guards and people at Starbucks coffee. She trains people to do that out on the
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but what else are you going to do? You're obviously a smart person in prison. Are you just going to sit around, lift weights? Like, what else are you going to do?
streets once they're released.
And this is while she's been in prison.
Incarcerated, yes, sir.
Okay.
I didn't think she would live there. She's never struck a kid. She's never struck her pets or anything. She's soft voiced, and we all thought somebody will kill her. She's been in some situations, but there's always been someone to look after. She does not know the difference in the color of people, and I don't either. She does not notice the difference in sizes of people, and they know that. A woman wrote me and said as soon as she walked in the prison, they knew there was a difference there, a light, and she is a light.
Natalie Cochran knows one color, green.
That's what she's been to me. She's a light. And whenever I need something, she'll say, Mommy, I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm fine. And so when I know she says fine, I know she's not really fine. She's just trying to keep me from being upset.
And again, you're talking about your conversations
Natalie,
with, you're talking about conversations with Natalie in prison,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. And we've run across so many good people. There are so many ugly people out there, how they treat others. But in her path, there have been so many good people, administrators and all that have helped. And I don't know if I can say it in court. No one would give her heart medicine at Southern Regional. She was so sick. Senator Roberts helped me to get medicine for her. At the federal prison, people here didn't even.
All right, honest question. Sorry to keep interrupting. I just have so many things popping up. Honest question. You look at the evidence that she obviously did not have cancer. How do you rationalize this in your mind? And again, I love this. This family is so sweet. I'm so sorry that Natalie did this to you all. How do you rationalize the fact that you helped raise money for the blood cancer your daughter didn't end up having? How do you rationalize this? You know, it makes all future health concerns null and void to me. And it is for the jury too.
And seeing that she had had heart surgery or heart problems, they didn't know, and they wouldn't give her anything. They wouldn't listen to Senator Roberts because he stayed.
Okay, I need to interrupt you here. When you say they, are you
The
talking?
administrators.
Hold
my
on,
God,
let
she's
me
down in
ask
the
a
prison
question. Are you saying the prison's personnel are not giving Natalie adequate medical treatment?
Oh my
Is that what you're
God,
saying?
y'all.
They
What
are
are you
now.
doing?
They are now, thanks to Representative Carol Miller.
Let's not go into
Okay.
side names and issues.
Okay.
I'm trying to, I'm just putting this as a point of view of, you know, what's going to get her mercy. What is going on?
So you're concerned for Natalie's health while she's in prison. Would that be a fair statement?
Oh, yes, because every time she's drugged down here, she misses her heart appointments because they keep putting them out, and you never know when you have an appointment. They just come and get you sometime at 6:30 in the morning and say, it's your appointment, let's go to Morgantown. But she hasn't had her heart looked at or some other problems. You look at her teeth. One tooth is falling out. Her gums turn black. She can't get dental help.
Look at the people who lost their retirement. Look at the people who lost their entire savings. Look at the people who lost, got thrown out of the youth baseball league, and then their reputation tarnished for a year and a half going through heavy financial audits. Look at everyone who lost Michael Cochran. What are we doing?
I beg for things like that, and I'll work for it. I'm not an advocate. I'm not a good speaker. You can
Okay.
see that.
Oh, I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad. Just enabling is a thing. Narcissists and sociopaths love enablers. They actually are like like, you get an enabler and then you have a narcissist. You drop the seed in the pot, enablers pour the water and provide the sunshine to grow the plant, if that makes sense.
Okay, again, we don't want to get confused in side issues and names, but you're telling this jury about Natalie's neglect and improper care in prison. Is that what you're summarizing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. How old are you, ma'am?
77.
So, like your husband, even if this jury gives
I mean, where's Victor in this? He needs to object. He needs to step in and object. I'm glad Stanley is leading this part, but man, like, people can understand English. Just because we country folk, that don't mean you gotta talk all slow. That means we can hear people talking because we have conversations on a daily basis. This is why people think we don't wear shoes. This is why people think we don't have teeth. This is why people think we all sleep with our cousins. Let's have a conversation.
Natalie, Mercy, you may not be alive when she gets out, possibly in 15 years.
I don't look for that. My mother lived to be over 100, but I don't feel like I can.
Okay. So you're hopeful that Natalie might get out and you might be able to spend more time with her. Is that correct?
I'd love to be able to spend, I want to hug her. And the bailiff here's let me give her a couple of hugs, but I want to just hold her for a long time.
Okay, now, this jury's already decided that Natalie has killed her husband, Michael. And you've talked about your close relationship with Michael, your husband's close relationship. Given that they've already made that decision, do you think Natalie should have the opportunity to be paroled in 15 years or more and have the opportunity to get out of prison, even though they found she killed Michael?
I do. I beg. I don't know what else I can say except please give mercy to her. It won't be for me probably, but be for her and her children and grandchildren someday.
Problem is you presented it as
Thank you,
it's
ma'am.
for you.
Proceed.
The problem is she presented it as it's for her. Someone tackle someone and say, Natalie killed Michael Cochran, but I love her. Please, I beg you, give her mercy. Say that one sentence and it happens.
Examination.
Thank you. Ms. Jessup, how many years did you teach
30 years.
in Raleigh County?
Yes, sir.
What did you teach?
Elementary school mostly.
Wow, 30 years. Was Mr. Jessup a teacher too?
My husband.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Again, I'm having some trouble hearing the prosecutor.
Was Mr. Jessup a teacher too?
No, he worked at the Board of Education in accounting.
Oh, he did.
He was assistant down there to the main accountant.
Stanley need to be over there like,
Does he have a degree in accounting?
That was his major in school. And he was also a state tax examiner at one time. I think he wrote maybe the manual for that. At one time, I don't know if they still use the manual or not.
The defendant has a degree in pharmacy, correct?
She's a doctor of pharmacy.
So it's beyond just graduating from pharmacy school. She did something else?
Well, I think they put more title to it, more courses or something. Used to be you could be a pharmacist without having that doctorate degree, but it's more years or something at her time when she graduated.
can I clarify again? I really, really, really like Daphne. I do. She's a sweet lady. Revert to the enabler statement. such a good, you can tell this family is a good family. It hurts me that communication has been cut off with the other side and that they can't understand what's going on, that their daughter is a murderer and killed Michael Cochran, their grandkid's father. But anyways.
And then she went on to get an MBA, right?
Access Health paid for that. And I went with her to take tests and things in Morgantown and stayed with her while she did group work with other people working on that degree.
As a teacher, you must have been ecstatic that your daughter did so well academically.
All of my children have done well. We strive to do well in school.
Now, did you and Mr. Jessup provide the financial aid for the defendant to go to pharmacy school?
We did all we could, but she worked, and I think they had some grants because I had to put 4 through college. And
I'm sorry, you had to do what?
We had to put 4 children through college, and then we were helping Michael and Natalie together as much as we could financially.
You were also a victim of the Ponzi scheme, were you not?
I was not a victim of the Ponzi scheme.
So you and your husband didn't invest with the defendant in the contract?
I invested, I gave money to Michael's company at the time.
Oh, okay. You see what she did there? She lost her money in it, but she wasn't a victim of a Ponzi scheme. So my guess is she blames the government.
$226. I knew what I was doing. I was investing.
$226 is all you
$226,000.
Oh, $226,000
or more.
$1,000. Okay.
Thousands.
Oh
and
my
you didn't get
God.
that money back?
Oh
No,
my God.
all the money was seized and taken and sealed till we do.
That's some love. Think about that. I haven't been able to, my God.
Not know how much money was in their accounts. We do not know how much money was in the company. No one investigated to see if this was maybe a scam on the kids. The kids would never hurt me. Michael and Natalie would never do anything to hurt us. Something's wrong, but no one investigated.
Didn't you file a claim as part of the federal restitution?
My husband took care of that but I think they didn't think we were victims. We're not victims. We'll never get any money back. Natalie asked the government to consider us victims. They said no. We tried to buy, if I'm doing something wrong, you tell me. We tried to buy.
To clarify what's going on here. Again, love this lady. She's saying everyone that lost that $2.5 million, everyone that lost that $2.5 million, you're not victims because I'm not. Now, granted, she's got more skin in the game. She put $250,000 in this, and I don't know, maybe that's love. Like, maybe you just forget that. But she's also saying all you other people that are whining, you're not victims.
Natalie's house for the children, put it in their name and our name. We could pay $320,000. We sold our house to do it. Michael's family fought us on that. At one time we were getting it, and then one judge backed out. They sold the house for $280,000 or $285,000. So the children don't have their home. They don't have their dad. They don't have their mom. They have 2 old people. And I'm so thankful for the other young folks that take care of the kids, teachers in Greenbrier County, principals.
This is sad.
These kids can stay at their homes if there's ever snowstorms and things like that. That's why I said, you don't know the good people that have come out of this, the blessings we've seen from people.
This is sad.
And I gather by your discussion of times that you've been to Africa and helped people out and stuff that the defendant was raised in a very religious-oriented environment. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir, but I think she's more spiritual than I am. I cannot write and speak like she can, and how to reach other people. I help children. but yet it multiplied. We put in wells, we feed people, schools. I built schools. Nobody knows just all the people that come forward throughout the United States. There's a man in Zambia watching every minute of this, Pastor Lukatasha. I've got people in Burma and different countries that are praying for us around. One of them prayed around the clock a whole month, a big church.
I'm sure a lot of people are praying for this family. I would say there's about 4 people that are praying for Natalie Cochran.
But back to my question, you raised the defendant in a very Christian, religious oriented home. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And since you've been involved with the defendant since she was put on this earth, right up to the present, where did things?
Hey, if y'all can do me, share this live stream link to your friends. I just want to test something here. Whoever knows about this channel, thanks to Kathy with Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. Thank you for helping us grow. But go ahead and share that real quick with somebody that is interested in the trial, if you don't mind.
Things go off the track with her.
Well, if I overstep, you tell me just to stop talking, because Michael was out of work. She was a pharmacist. He watched a movie called War Dogs, and I do not appreciate all the cursing, but he wanted me to watch it, so I watched it. He was going to do government contracts. In the movie, the 2 men go to prison for 20 years apiece or more.
We're not doing this right now. We're not doing this right now. We are not doing this right now. She's talking about the movie War Dogs. I can't. Oh my God. I'm trying to be nice. Oh, okay. I hope she isn't about to walk into explaining that Michael had the idea for the Ponzi scheme from watching War Dogs. I hope that's not what's getting ready to go on.
I think they're out now. And I begged him. I said, don't you do anything wrong. He said, I won't. And then he started to open it up to family. And I said, keep it in the family. I knew some of the family members involved. I did not know some of the doctors involved at the time.
Oh my God.
And people like that.
Daphne.
If you kept it in the family, I think things would be fine. But it got outside. And I don't think Michael was doing anything illegal. I think Michael thought he was doing right. They were going to look in to see if it was a scam.
Oh, we're not.
But then they had Natalie.
I'm so sorry, Donna.
Can I tell the jury what she pled to? It wasn't a Ponzi scheme.
I'm so sorry,
The first thing, and I wrote the numbers down on the indictment, was number 6. She bought Michael a black car frame. It doesn't even have a motor.
Oh, no,
it was a Cobra.
Doing this
and
right
that's
now.
called money laundering because it went
We're not doing this right now.
across state lines or something. The motor came from somewhere else. They didn't do a thing about
Somebody
that.
tackled
The other
her.
thing, her name was on the bank account.
Cut the mic off.
If my husband gets arrested, my name's on
Jesus.
the account. I'll probably go too.
Obviously.
And the
that was
same
a
with the
joke.
kids. If Michael
No
were
violence.
here, he and Natalie would both be in trouble, but maybe some
Oh,
help would come
God.
for him. Michael and Natalie loves us. They would never hurt us in any way.
You
My
and
goodness.
Mr. Jessup had 4 children, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And they're all still alive?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the defense
Can
should
you-
say no further questions. Like we were going to call a bunch of witnesses, but like we're good.
Think how awful it would be to lose one of them?
We lost one. We lost Michael. He was like a son to us.
And from his mother's perspective, that would be as bad or worse than your loss. Is that fair to say?
No, sir. I don't think it's fair to say. I'd like to say something, but I've not been negative about his family.
Y'all don't take it out on this family. This is really, really, really sad what we're watching. This is enabling. It is a tale as old as time. This is enabling, but please do not let's just have some grace with this family. I can't imagine what they're going through. This is so beyond sad with me. And now Michael is being thrown in. The dirt that's being thrown on him right now. When the state police proved that he had no knowledge They showed text messages in court that he had no knowledge of this Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme. All of you are victims. As much as Daphne says she's not, they are all victims. So please know what you're watching. This is very, very sad. I do not blame them for loving their daughter, but I hope that one day when my kid grows up, I'm going to be able to rationalize, when or if she does something wrong. I just hope I can. I think I can, but I've never been through it. Hopefully never will. But anyways.
And I don't know if I can do that in court, so I probably shouldn't say anything.
Okay. Thank you. State has no further questions.
Anything further, Mr. Selden?
Yes, Your Honor.
Silver Fox, I'm going to stop and comment on your comment. You said you thought he was a horrible person. Are you saying now that he is a good person? Here's what I know. I was flooded with messages from people in the community that talked about Michael Cochran and who he was and how he helped. I got a message from someone whose kid had a disability and said Michael would spend extra time with them after practice, during practice. And now the kid is older and is thriving. And they directly credited Michael Cochran's coaching with this kid to help them succeed and grow to where they are now. That is what I know. I know he had a best friend, Chris Davis, that stayed in touch with him every single day. And Chris Davis is a stand-up dude. He's a lawyer in the area. I believe he was a witness or he was involved in the big opioid settlement that West Virginia received. If you don't know, Kermit, West Virginia, which this was part of, I don't know if this was part of his particular case, but Kermit, West Virginia was flooded with 9 million pain pills, and they have a population of 400. Well, eventually there was a big lawsuit. I think they ended up winning multi hundreds of millions, which is still a drop in the bucket. But anyways, Chris Davis was his best friend. I'm telling you, Chris Davis is not going to be friends with someone who is not a good person, from what I understand. So to answer your question, from the evidence I have seen, he is a great person. The evidence that his Michael Cochran's children have testified to, and I come from a bad background, so I'm not going to tell a kid what their life experience was. It seemed like he was not an attentive father to them, is what they said. I don't know that, and I'm not going to say it's wrong on their part.
Ms. Jessup, you said, if I recall correctly, that you tried to more or less salvage the Cochran's home from being auctioned off. You made
sorry, Silver Fox.
Offer of
sorry, Silver Fox. He was commenting to Daphne. She was contradicting. Okay, yeah, there is some contradiction here, but sorry. I think it was good to clarify. For a lot of people who aren't in the area that don't know Michael, which I didn't know Michael. I don't know anyone, to be honest. But anyways, it'd be good for clarification.
over $300,000, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You wanted to buy it back so the children would have a place to stay?
Yes, sir. And the federal prosecutor asked me
please, just listen to my question, okay?
You seen that? You seen the Titanic?
Now, because you couldn't do that for whatever reason, okay, you said that now the children don't have a home anymore and have to depend on others.
Titanic.
Is that
highly
what
recommend.
you said?
Or Titanic.
they have a home with me.
Okay.
If I could have bought their home, their names would have been on the deed with all four of our names would on it. The home I bought now just has my husband and my names on
Okay,
it.
so you wanted the children to have their original home back and not be dependent on you and others. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir. I want them to have their home.
Which is very sweet. Good people.
And if I'm correct, and you correct me if I'm not, you said Michael didn't do anything wrong. Is that what you said?
Okay, this may be the best thing Stanley does.
He was trying not to do anything wrong. Something may have
Okay.
happened.
Oh,
You
no,
said
you
you
didn't.
don't believe
No, you
Michael?
didn't. He's trying to walk you back out of that. Let him do this. Let him do the best thing he's done.
Did anything wrong, but did you? What about Natalie?
No, sir. Neither one.
Oh,
They
my.
would never do anything wrong or do
There it
anything to
is.
hurt us.
There it is. Not only
That's all,
did
Your
she
Honor.
not say
Anything further, Mr. Truman?
State has no
That she
additional
did it?
questions of Ms. Jessup. Thank you.
All right.
just
Thank you
asked
very
her
much,
a
Ms.
question
Jessup. You
that
may step
said
down.
she didn't
Let's go ahead
do
and
it.
take a
You just
brief
asked her a
recess,
question
10
that said he
minutes
didn't
at
do
least.
it.
Please do not discuss
Or
the
she
case
didn't
among
do it.
yourselves or with
I'm just
anyone
so
else,
frazzled.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You may go with the bailiff to your jury room.
Oh, y'all. Y'all. All right. Let me start another poll here. I got V2 up. Let's do round 3. Let's do round 3. 91% says she does not receive mercy. Oh man, I thought the parents were really going to be her best help here. Let me just ask. All right. Let's see what everyone says. That was bad. And listen, I'm uneducated. I'm a college dropout. You know, I'm not even going to act like I could pass the bar. Did I end the poll? What did I do? Wait. What happened? Oh, shoot. I about said a cuss word, y'all. Let me remove this. I thought I started a poll and I did a text. Boomer. All right, here we go. Should Natalie Cochran receive mercy? What's that? I'd play that song, Pretty Woman, Mercy, if I wouldn't get it pulled. Did I do that right? Yeah, okay, I did that right. Oh, Lord. All right. 14 votes in, 100%, 15. So, what are we doing here? Okay, it's on a short break. All right, we'll hang in for this one. When it becomes lunch, we'll probably cut this stream and then we'll come back post lunch if that works for y'all. I think, let me make sure. Okay, because I don't know if y'all know, I've been working.
Grammy nominated Joe Bonamassa.
Let me mute this for now. I'm getting work done. So if someone knows me personally, I assure you, work is getting done. So yeah, 30th. Yeah, we're good. I think that's what we can do. Do I have juice and snacks? Thank you, Deja. Afraid to answer that question. I don't. So that's what we should do. Later, do a poll. Will she receive mercy? Should Natalie Cochran receive? Oh, that's good. Okay, let's do that. Let's see if that changes. We've got 96% no, 4% yes. And, you know, again, my opinion on it. I can't imagine what the jury's going through. It's a very hard decision. But I will say that I agree with whatever they pick. If they pick mercy, I'm okay with that. Even after that testimony, their decision is their decision. I don't think they should be faulted for their decision. And I think Daphne ended up saying that, or yeah, someone said that. But anyway, I'm going to tell you, Daphne's testimony, I think that turned it so far. What would it be? Red. Let's say red is no mercy, green is mercy. I think it went through the floor on that. And I just imagine what they're thinking here. Because keep in mind, they're talking to a jury that came back in like 2 hours. It was like under 2 hours. So it's evident early, this jury knew what they were going to vote. They basically went in there. I mean, the paperwork is so long. They basically went in there and was like, all right, probably what happened. Again, I have no clue, but probably what happened is they went in there and said, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Let's see who all's guilty and who all's not guilty. Let's do that. So they probably all wrote it down, put it in a hat, and then they had the jury, the person who's over the jury, whatever it's called, say, okay, well, and then they went guilty, 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 guilty. And they're like, oh, well, we're good. That's pretty much what happened. So you're dealing with a jury like that, and then you're going to come out and throw shade and at the end say she didn't do anything she's in prison for. She didn't do anything she's in prison for. That's the one thing you have to say. That's the one thing you say. I mean, now I get it. I know your word is your bond, especially in West Virginia. But that's just, you have to admit guilt. You have to do it. But anyway, I think it's bad. I think it's bad. Let's go ahead and end this poll. We'll do another poll that says, should receive mercy. All right, we did should Natalie Cochran receive mercy. Or is that's not what I worded before. How did I word it before? Hang on, I gotta scroll up. Oh, daggone it. Hang on. I said the exact same thing. Hang on, y'all. Bear with me. How did you word it? I said later do a poll. Will. Okay. That's what we'll do. Will Natalie Cochran receive mercy is the poll that's coming up. Okay, let's see what we got here. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. All right, we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, pros and cons. Let's say I'm the defense. We'll do pros and cons, which is essentially cons would be in favor of the prosecution. Pros would be in favor of the defense. Con. Stanley Sheldon saying, I don't know how many times I count. It was double digits how many times he told people to slow down. He told people he couldn't hear them. Which I assure you the jury could. No one else is saying this. Someone needs to get him some earbuds so he can hear. So that's a con. Stanley Seldon. Interruptions. I agree with you, Kathy. The family has been throwing, well, not all of them. Specifically Daphne. I mean, the dad, I didn't really catch much. But Daphne literally sat up there and said she wasn't a victim of the crime, of the Ponzi scheme. She said, I was not a victim of the Ponzi scheme. And he said, how much money did you give? She said, $226. They said, what? $226? Oh, $226,000. And they're like, and you weren't a victim? No, I wasn't a victim. And then she compared Michael. She said he was sitting down watching this movie War Dogs. And I don't know if y'all have watched that, but I actually thought about this movie when I first learned of this case. So War Dogs, for those of you who don't know, it's a really good movie. It was made in 2016, which the timeline adds up here. She said he sat down and watched War Dogs, but here's the synopsis. So loosely based on a true story of two young men, David Pakowitz and Ephraim DeVeroli, who won a $300 million contract from the Pentagon to arm American allies in Afghanistan. Now, if you know anything about this case, that's very, very relative. So basically, she sat up there and said, Michael was watching this movie, War Dogs, and, you know, kind of gave a little bit of what it was about. And then I said, don't you do anything wrong, Michael? Which pretty much I mean, we all know what that's implying. But then to make it worse, at the final question, Stanley Selden said, I can't remember exactly how it was phrased, but she ended up saying, no, Natalie is not guilty of anything. She didn't only say she's not guilty of murder. She's not guilty of the motive that the state proved was why Natalie Cochran murdered Michael Cochran. Now, put yourself in a jury box. You're in a jury that just essentially, again, I'm guessing it was straight guilty from the jump because they came back in less than 2 hours. Put yourself in that mindset where it's basically saying, you don't know what you're talking about, but here's all these things I've done with the church. And Natalie was involved with those things. And that is damning for this mercy plea. I just don't think, after hearing that, I mean, they're going to really have to turn this around. Oh, yeah. Offensive is the word. If I'm Donna Bolt, my fever is 117. Keep that in mind. She's in this courtroom. I'm assuming. I haven't seen her. But keep that in mind. And she stopped herself from throwing shade at them. If you noticed, it was coming. Now, keep in mind, Donna Bolt lost over $200,000. I'm not sure of the exact number. I hope to find that out. She lost over $200,000. And what happened was, it sounds like they ended up selling. She is in court, Kathy? All right, thanks. They ended up selling the house to recoup some money. And now if it was paid off, I don't know. I don't know if they had to pay the bank some. I don't know. I'd hate to even think about how much was lost. But you're hearing this. You just broke down crying in the courtroom and I'll stop sharing this for now, so it'll be a little big. You stop crying in the courtroom. You start crying in the courtroom when the defense shows your son's decomposed body on the projector in front of everyone in the courtroom, and you didn't know it was coming. So what are you going to do? You're going to cry. And she did. And I guarantee the jury heard it. Because that's what matters. All of this stuff of like, she helped families in Zimbabwe, and like she gave elderly flu shots, which I'd be real scared about. She did whatever. That none of that matters. Oh, we're coming back. All right. All right. Let me make sure let me turn the volume.
We need to take up at this time out of the presence of the jury.
That's what Your Honor. Thank you. No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very well. Bring in the jury, please. Bailiff.
Man, I feel so sorry for Donna. I mean, I still feel sorry for that family, but mostly the enabling is, I don't know how charismatic of a person you have to be to set this scene. I mean, keep in mind the salesmanship. She sold what they can prove to $2.5 million worth of investors. She sold them on investing. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have that salesmanship. I don't know how you do this. How do you do this? I don't know how you do this.
All right, we continue with testimony provided by the defense. Please call your next witness, Mr. Selden.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we would like to call to the stand Angie Martin.
If you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may have a seat.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you please state your full name and spell it for the record?
It's Angie Martin, Angie Martin.
Do you know Natalie Cochran?
Yes, sir.
How long have you known her? Approximately.
6 years. Okay. Maybe 5. I don't know. I'm not.
If you're going to speak, please.
I'm not a good mathematician.
That's fine. If you would, please tell this jury about your experience with Natalie Cochran as a person and your familiarity with her character.
Okay.
And first, well, I'll get to that. Please go ahead.
Okay.
And again, you are referencing a piece of paper. Is that notes that you have written?
Yes.
Has anyone else provided you with those notes or told you to write anything down or anything of that nature?
All right, who's this?
No, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
Natalie's son and my daughter dated 2 years on and off. That's how I began to know Natalie and her family. In the beginning of their relationship, I had no idea who he was, much less who his family was.
Okay, I just want to caution you.
Mm-hmm.
Their son is a minor,
Yep.
so when you're referring to him, just say their son.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
When my daughter began making plans to visit his house, I knew I had to find out more about this boy, like any other mother would do. I totally accidentally somehow came across Natalie's name as being a lady accused of murdering her husband. I immediately went into research mode, making sure this was not the boy's mother that my daughter was dating. Unfortunately, we discovered it was in fact the same family. I was skeptical. I knew this was young love and it would never last. I told myself not to worry about it. Guess what? The months went on and on and on. Then I realized, maybe this is something. As the months continued,
I had several interactions with Natalie.
Hold on. This is post-murder?
Eventually,
She met her post-murder?
we started to become friends. She opened up to me about things that had happened with her family. As the months continued, Natalie began to work for me. She kept me organized. She was great with customers, and everybody loved her.
Okay. What is your business?
Everyone does love her. She's a narcissist. Keep in mind.
I own an antique shop.
Okay, please go on.
We did a lot of things together in the short amount of time that we knew each other. She was compassionate. She was loving and caring for everyone around her. My daughter would go to their house multiple times throughout the relationship. She loved Natalie and always enjoyed her time at her house. My daughter and I had dinner at their house, game night. We even spent New Year's Eve with them.
Okay, now, I just want to clarify the time. This is when Michael Cochran was still alive, but Natalie had been indicted in the federal system. Is that correct?
Michael was not alive at this time.
Okay, but Natalie was indicted.
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
When Natalie was sentenced for 11 years, her parents and children were devastated.
You know that thing your family does?
At least they're quick ads.
Her son and daughter have dealt with so much. They've lost their dad, the home they grew up in, and their mom for the last few years. Their mother means the world to them, and they mean the world to her. Nikki and MAC want nothing more than their mother in their lives. They want her to be a part of their weddings, to have a chance to see her grandchildren, and just to be a part of each stage that they go through in their lives. Natalie's mother and father also want nothing more than just another chance to hold their daughter in their arms and know that everything would be okay once more. Natalie is a mother. She's a daughter. She's an aunt, niece, friend. But she's a human being that has a life just like we all do. She has taught both myself and my daughter that no matter how dark the tunnel could be, there will always be light at the end of that tunnel. She has proved that to us multiple times. Natalie has been strong and courageous throughout many trials and tribulations she has been through. For people to sit here today and consider this woman guilty of first-degree murder has left many people distraught and heartbroken. How can you, as a jury, convict Natalie Cochran of murdering her husband when there's been no hard evidence proven?
No.
Oh, come on now.
Let me stop you there.
No, ma'am.
That decision's been made.
Right.
No,
It can't be
ma'am.
questioned. Okay?
I'm sorry.
You can't
No.
comment on
Sorry.
the jury's actions.
That's
And-
okay.
Okay, so
I'm
please.
sorry. No.
To
omit
pull
that.
this
sure you're a nice
mother
person?
away from her
No.
children and family is just hard to understand. Whichever side you decide,
Okay.
I know that no matter what
I'm printing something out.
and no matter where, Natalie will forever be a great friend
I'm printing something out.
towards both me and my daughter. I ask that you please think long and hard about deciding Natalie's fate for the next chapter in her life. Consider mercy for Natalie. Think of her children while making this lifetime decision.
Oh my God.
I don't think I have any questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
Ms. Martin, you never met Michael Cochran, right?
Get it,
Unfortunately,
Ashley.
I did not.
So I'll ask you a question that I've already asked here today. How do you feel knowing that because of their mother, these children will never have their father in their
You
lives?
hear that? You hear that woman right there? That is a smart woman talking.
Because of their mother?
She has been convicted of first-degree murder.
Good
And how
job,
do I
Ashley.
think they feel?
How do you feel knowing that those children will never have their father in their lives again?
I'm definitely sad for the kids, obviously.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Good job, Ashley.
No, Your Honor, nothing further of this witness.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. You may step down. You are excused. Call your next witness, Mr. Selden.
Let me show y'all in case you forgot.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to call the Cochran's son, M.A.C.
You know what's
to
being
the
lost?
stand.
Very well.
You know what's being lost in the witnesses so far?
And Your Honor,
What's being
my
lost?
co-counsel has pointed out that he cannot be on camera and they cannot show his identity.
All right, we've gone through this drill before, and I direct this
Don't forget.
admonition to the media folks in the back. You can blur out his face or put a block on his face or whatever is done now.
That's what's
But,
being forgotten.
I do not
right
want
now.
his face to be portrayed
The past
on
3
camera.
witnesses.
All right.
Not going to prove well. Yeah, that's Michael, Deja.
If you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help
Yeah,
you God?
the judge explained that,
Have a seat
Brian. He's been on camera, but the judge explained, like, well, if you sit in the courtroom, you're going to be on camera. So I got to let you know, like, we can't keep you off camera there, but we can for your testimony.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not going to be harsh here. I'm just going to talk. I'm not even probably going to say anything, y'all.
How do you
I
know
res- I
Natalie
respect
Cochran?
these
And,
kids
well,
so much.
first of all,
I mean, I respect everyone, but like
Your Honor,
that last
instead of this
testimony was
witness
crazy.
going through his full name, I'll just ask him to identify himself by the initials M.A.C.
All right, that would be appropriate.
And as you've heard, you're appearing here today on your mother's behalf, Natalie Cochran,
This is
to
going to be
appeal to
sad.
this jury to find mercy for your mother. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you're probably one of the 2 most familiar people with your mother.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you, would you tell this jury why your mother should be granted mercy despite the fact that she's been convicted by this jury of first-degree murder? Would you please address
Daughter's
the
an
jury on
adult. She's
that?
20.
My mom has done.
Could you tilt the microphone up a little bit?
Yeah,
and speak
It
into it?
sucks.
Thank you.
My mom has been there through everything for me. Every baseball game, football game, school event. She's helped me live my day-to-day life. She still calls me more than once a day, as much as possible. And
I know this is hard for you. Just do the best you can, okay? If you need to take breaks, take breaks. Gather your thoughts, whatever you need.
After my dad died, we were all very depressed, a very sad family. She would always text me in the middle of the night, asking me if I wanted my midnight snack or checking up on me, making sure I'm good. She always let me do whatever made me happy. She took us to church.
Yeah, this isn't
If you
fair.
need to use it, the
this is so
Kleenex box
sad.
is there.
I mean, their opinions matter more than anyone's. I mean, if they want mercy, they need to say my mom killed my dad.
Let me
I just
let me direct questions a little bit. I know it's difficult for you to formulate your thoughts. How do you think your mother is needed in your life from this point on? She's been convicted. Okay. She's going to prison. The question here today is, does she go to prison for the rest of her life? Or is she eligible for parole in 15 years?
Man, why are they doing this to these kids?
Mercy? How do you think you need your mother in your life? Or even if you think you need your mother in your life from this point forward?
I want my kids to have a grandmother. I want them to know her. I want them to be able to go over to their grandma's house and have Christmas and spend time with her.
Would you like her to be around and possibly out of prison if you get married or anything like that?
Yes.
You were close to your father as well as your mother, right?
Very.
And even though your mother's been convicted of your father's death, do you have any animosity towards your mother, any desire for her to stay in prison for the rest of her life or anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all.
Shout out Tornado. Sorry, I
love both of them to death. And he knows that he was abusing steroids. It's his fault. Do anything to save him.
I'm sorry.
Do anything to save him. Both of them.
Who would do anything to save him?
Welcoming and warm in your life.
Oh man.
Are you 17
bless
years
this kid.
old?
Yes, sir.
This sucks. This sucks.
And I don't mean to be leading, but if your mother is allowed to attempt to be paroled, it's going to be at least 15 years. So you'd be 32.
If it's with
right?
the
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if it starts now, that's going to affect this sentence. The way he just said that, the 15 years starts now.
You have a lot of life
and she's
left,
serving,
right?
Yes, sir.
I think it's the remainder of 7
Would you
years
want your
on her
mother
Ponzi
to
scheme.
be involved in that life?
So if you're going to say
after
she gets
at
murder
least
for 8
15
years,
Yes, sir.
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen.
What do you think you've learned from your mother in being raised by her and your father? What life lessons or attitudes or things that would help you cope with life have you learned from her?
All right, again, bless this kid. I'm so sorry for his loss. This isn't about him. This is just about steroids. So just so you know, there's no documented cases of steroids ever causing low glucose. Steroids do not do this. And we don't even know. We don't even know what kind he may have been taking. This is all word of mouth. Now, as a fitness freak too that I am, I'm guessing that the dropper was maybe HGH. You've heard about a dropper like that. Basically, they're just throwing stuff in the air. There is no proof of him taking steroids. He took supplements from GNC and things like that. There's no kind of steroid that's ever been brought up. So I gotta repeat that. But again, heart goes out to this kid. It's nothing against his trial, but I feel like you need to know that because he mentioned that steroids. He implied that steroids, steroid abuse is what killed him.
If you can put it into words.
To stay strong through everything, no matter what. And just to be nice to people. Very kind human being.
You'll have some challenges in life from this point forward. You're only 17. You'll have to face many of life's problems, challenges. Do you think your mother, if she is allowed mercy, would help you through those difficult times?
Of course. Of course.
Would you like to make a plea to this jury on your mother's behalf for mercy? Would you like to address them?
I just hope you all understand that it's not just her life that y'all are picking and choosing to mess with, but it's the kids too and the whole families. And a lot of us really want our mom back.
I'm not even going to comment on it. I'm so
really
sad.
want her back. And I just beg you, give her mercy. She's a great woman.
Thank you.
Keep in mind you're 12 and you lose your dad.
Cross-examination.
Your question. You're in what grade in school?
Senior.
Oh, you're a senior.
Yes, sir.
What's your plans for next year?
Hopefully get a scholarship, play baseball at some college.
Do you know where you're going to go?
Not yet.
Do you have any idea what you want to do when you get there?
Go into some type of business form.
Kind of like your sister, she's in accounting. You want to have something similar or comparable to that?
Something like that, yes.
It's fair to say you've had a really bad last 5 or 6 years, right?
Yes, sir.
And during that time, you've lived with your grandma and grandpa Jessup, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Still do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Even though it's not fun, life has gone on for you. Is that fair to say?
So sad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I could have just a moment, please.
Very well.
I mean,
That's all the questions the state has.
good job, Truman.
Anything further, Mr. Selden?
Can't.
No, Your Honor, not of this witness.
You can't do
Thank you
anything
very
there.
much. You may
Like,
step down.
What are you going to say? Like, no, you're
Call your
lying.
next witness,
Like,
Mr. Selden.
he's not lying.
Yes,
He's
Your Honor.
speaking his truth. Now, his truth isn't the ultimate truth.
At this time, the defense would like to call Nicole Cochran.
Because they proved without a doubt, without a reasonable doubt, jury verdict, less than 2 hours,
Come forward.
that Michael Cochran was murdered by Natalie Cochran.
You'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may have a seat.
Would you please state your full name and spell it for the record?
Nicole Cochran, NicoleCochran.
And what relationship, if any, to Natalie Cochran are you?
I'm her daughter.
How old are you?
19.
So along with your brother who just testified, you are probably one of the two most familiar people with your mother's character, temperament, everything as far as her possible qualifications for mercy. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish your mother to be granted mercy by this jury?
Yes, very, very badly.
I know you're very emotional. I couldn't hear your answer. Take a moment,
Sorry.
please.
Did he just do that again?
Yes, I do.
And I know this is a broad question, but can you tell this jury why you want your mother to receive mercy? And by that, I would like you to talk about how mercy or no mercy would affect your life.
She is my mother, but I've always kind of considered her to be my best friend. Growing up, it was Natalie, my mom. She just meant the world to me, and she would do the basic motherly duties, like pack my lunches, take me to school, take me to music lessons, to tennis practices, but we also did so much above that. She would read me bedtime stories when I was a young girl, and she kind of brought forth my love for books from that. She used to do anything for me. She watched hours of YouTube videos to learn how to do my hair a certain way so that I could have it for tennis practices. I've missed so many moments with my mother. I've missed getting ready with her for proms. I missed having her when I got my driver's license. I've missed her at birthdays and Christmases and Thanksgivings. I missed her at my high school graduation, and I missed her on the day I moved into college. I'm begging you to give her mercy so that I don't have to miss more. I want her at my birthdays in the future. I want her there when I get married, when I have kids, if I'm able. I want her there for all the major milestones in my life that I have.
It's this. If she ends this with my mom killed my dad, but please give her mercy. She gets it. But I just don't think it's going to happen.
Left.
Does that include those statements? And I'm not telling you to go on. Do you want to say anything else? I'm going to have a couple follow-up questions, but is that?
You can go ahead.
Okay. You're 20 now, is that right?
19.
19, sorry. Your mother now is 44. You know that?
Yes, sir.
So even if she's granted mercy, she's going to be in jail for a minimum of 15 years. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
I do
You're
not.
going to be
If that's
34
the way
years
the
old.
sentence is
After
going, I
15
don't
years,
think it.
and your
I don't
mother's
think
going to
anyone
be
can say
59
anything.
years old. Do you know that?
Yes, sir.
If she starts the 15 years now and it overrides the Ponzi scheme, I don't think she gets it. I don't care what anyone says. If that's how it's going to work, I don't think she gets it. That's 8 years. So she has like 7 years left on the Ponzi scheme. That would be 8 years she would serve for the murder.
Sure.
Do you think if your mother gets paroled or is eligible for parole in 15 years at the age of 59, maybe 60, she would still have life lessons to teach you?
Yes, I do.
This jury has already found that your mother killed your father. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
And you loved your father, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any malice or hatred or anything along those lines to your mother because of that?
No, I love her so much, and that just hasn't changed.
Okay, thank you.
Cross-examination.
I don't have any questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down, Ms. Cochran. Call your next witness, Mr. Selden.
Your Honor, at this point, we are no longer calling any more defense witnesses.
All right. This would be a good time for us to take our lunch break, members of the jury. It's a little bit before noon. We'll start back up at 1 o'clock, please.
All right. So we're going to pause I'm going to end this. Let's do one last poll before we go to lunch. I'm going to start up a new stream when everyone comes back. I'll take a little break. Let's see. Will Natalie Cochran receive mercy? Yes or no? And keep in mind, I just don't think the lack of accountability, no way she does 8 years for this murder. Essentially, that's what we're talking about. I don't think it happens because this is what we're forgetting here. And it's so sad to hear the shade that's been thrown. To hear the shade that's been thrown about Michael, they'll probably be about an hour and a half. But to hear the shade that's been thrown, basically, as you remember, Daphne, I mean, she's kind of pointing the blame at him, and she definitely turned all blame away from Natalie her final statement, she said she didn't do anything wrong. Now, if you're out there and you lost 6 figures and you hear that, what are you thinking? But now the weird thing is she lost $226,000. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how you can. I mean, I don't know if it's brainwashing. I don't know what it is. It's just there's no admission of guilt. There was none at all. They even interviewed someone who knew her after the murder and said, yeah, I think her kid was dating one of Natalie's kids or something. It's like, yeah, she was great. She wouldn't do that. I mean, she wouldn't steal $2.5 million either. Like, yeah, she wouldn't do that, but she did. And it was proven. And she talked about texts. Let's bring back Betsy Britland, the person she made up that worked for the government, that did weapons contracts. She made that up. And then when she would tell Michael about these wire transfers that are supposed to arrive in certain days, this and that, whatever, she would blame it on Betsy, this fake person, on why they didn't come. Nobody has acknowledged on the defense side that she made fake contracts. She knowingly stole family and friends' money. She was being investigated in a youth baseball league in which she was causing pain for nearly everyone involved with it. She most likely lied about having cancer. She had fundraisers. There was fundraisers in the community that were started for her because of her lie of having cancer. Let's just call it a lie. There's not been any records. There's been no records provided. They've asked for the records. The doctors were there. They testified. Did you ask for the records? Yes, I asked for the records. Did they give you the records? No, I never received any records. Like, what is going? I don't know what's going on. But it's so sad. And one thing is for sure, again, if I'm Donna Bolt, my fever is 175. There is no doubt. If I'm Donna, I'm very upset. But we'll see what happens after lunch. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Creepalachia is also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. We're having a really good community building there. We have Instagram, which is creepalachia.productions. And we have 7 hours of audio content. I'm not sure how much really that we went through this case. We have a comprehensive timeline that I suggest if you haven't watched. It's years 2018 through 2024. But I appreciate y'all joining me, and we'll be back. Thanks.